Hello, I'm going to show you how to make a walking sim very quickly. I've opened Unity. I'm clicking on New. I'm going to call this second attempt at walking sim. I got confused last time and wasted a bunch of time. It's going to be a 3D project. I'm going to say create the project. So this tutorial requires very little knowledge of Unity. You can probably figure out a lot even if you don't know the UI, but in my UI might be arranged a little differently than yours. Sorry about that. Here we have my hierarchy view, scene view, game view. Here we're going to have my inspector. The projects files is going to be down here, and then the console for bug reports is going to be down here, error things. Okay. When we start up the project, we have a main camera and a directional light. We're going to go ahead and import our first person controller. So I click on Assets, Import Package, Characters, and I don't really want an Ethan. You don't have to, you can just import it like this, but I really don't want Ethan. Not this time. So I'm going to unclick third person character and then import. It'll just take less time that way. I don't know. I know I'm not going to use it, so I'm not going to use it. So we got this file. I double click on it. Characters, first person, prefabs. Prefabs are basically where they've already put all the components together. And we're going to drag a rigid body in. You can choose the FPS controller instead if you like. I just tend to choose rigid body. And I'm just going to drag it up here. And then let's see, it seems fine. Seems like it's in a good spot. And now we need something for the rigid body controller to stand on. So we're going to create a cube by clicking on Create, 3D Object Cube. Let's move it down a little bit. So its Y position is going to be -5. No, we're not going to do that. You know what we're going to do? We're going to reset that. That's going to be at 0. Reset it. And we're going to pull our rigid body controller up. That will simplify things in the later stages. So I dragged it up. That's how I did it. I just dragged this up. Boop. That you have to click on the arrow. So ground's not very big. Let's change the color of it first. I'm going to click on Assets to go back to our main folder. I'm going to say create a folder called Materials. And then I double click on that. I right click and say create material. This is going to be our ground. And we get to choose our color. We're going to choose orange-ish. It's going to be a ground color. And I'm just going to drag this material onto that. And let's make it less smooth and more metallic. Okay, now if I press play, you can see that I'm standing on the cube. I can jump off the cube, right? If I press escape, I can go back up and hit this button to stop it. And also, if it's not full screen, then it's because of this button here, maximize on play. Okay. So ground's not big enough, or maybe we want another one ground. Let's make another ground in addition to this one. So I'm going to click on the cube, and then I'm going to say Control D, which duplicates our cube. Then I'm just going to move this one down a little bit by dragging it down a little bit, and let's make it wider. So on scale, I'm going to click on the X and drag to the right to make it bigger, and then I'm going to click on the Z and drag to the right to make it wider. And then I'm going to change the color so it's a little more distinguishable. So I'm going to right click on ground, our ground material, and I'm going to say, oh, that doesn't work, does it? So if I click on the ground material, can I duplicate it by pressing Control D? No. Yes, it did work. Now we have one called ground 1. and I'm just going to change the color of this slightly. It didn't change enough, did it? Oh, we didn't assign it. Okay, so it's slightly changed. And then we're going to drag this one and put it on our second ground. Okay, so now if we press play, we start off on the box, but now we are walking around the box on the other object. Ta-da! We can jump up on the box and everything. Okay, so let's import some more objects. I have an OBJ here, which is just a 3D object. I'm going to drag that in. I'm not going to show you how to properly assign materials to OBJs because I hate it and I have to figure it out every time. Let's also rename let's actually rename our cube's ground. Well, this is no longer a ground, that's a cube. Cube, and we're going to name this ground. Keep things clear. Okay, so we dragged our OBJ over, and so now we're just going to drag this into the scene, or we can drag it into the hierarchy. We'll put it in the scene though. So now we got a big elephant. Let's move them closer to us. This object's not centered very well, so that's why this widget here is off. To move around, I am holding down the right mouse button and pressing WSAD and looking. That's how I move around. So get a better angle, and we're going to move our elephant into our scene. Better. Okay. So now we have the elephant there. That's good. Let's make it so that the elephant has a material, yeah? So we're going to click on the materials folder and right click, create material, elephant. It's what we're going to name our elephant material. And I'm going to choose a color, pink-ish, unsaturated style. And I'm going to drag that onto the elephant. Now, isn't that cool looking? And then let's make it so we can walk on the elephant, because, well, let me show you what happens when I press play. So if I press play, this has no collider on it, so we walk right through it, which can be cool. You might want to do that. But I'm going to show you how to make it so that you can actually walk on the thing. Pressing escape, and then, oh, sorry, I guess, let's import a bunch. Well, no, we'll do that later. Okay. So I'm going to click on the elephant object in the hierarchy here, and I'm going to add a physics component, the mesh collider. Okay. Now it doesn't know where the mesh is. All right. So we're going to find the mesh for it. We're going to go back to our assets folder, and I don't actually know which one of these it is. Probably this one that looks very meshy. So I'm just going to drag this layer 1 over into mesh. Your results might be different. Depending on what you made the object with, what program you made the object with, it can be different. This was made with Oculus Medium. So now, if I press play, I can walk on the elephant. Ta-da! Which can be a lot more interesting. IMO. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you how to put a soundtrack in. Well, actually, let's duplicate that elephant. Okay, so I'm going to click on the elephant, and then I'm going to press Control, hold down Control, press D. So now we have a second elephant. I'm going to move that second elephant on the Z plane this way, and I'm also going to rotate it on the Y axis, which is like, it's basically pole dancing right now. Okay, and it looks interesting. I think it's probably still too big or something. I'm just going to adjust this a little more so we don't end up inside the elephant or at the very beginning. That's better, I think. And then yeah, that'll be alright. And then let's change its material too. So I'm going to double click on material. I'm going to duplicate the elephant material, then change its color to green-ish. And then I'm going to drag that onto our new elephant. And you know what? Not happy with the lighting entirely. Let's add another directional light. Or let's just change this one. So I'm going to click on the directional light, and I'm going to adjust the rotation until I think it looks better in this here window. Let's see. Oh, that's cool. I like that. Let's adjust this one too. Oh, that's getting better. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's very dynamic. Okay, and then what color do we want it to be? I'm going to click on here to choose a color. Let's see what happens when it's pinkish. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, what's that wildness? Let's still be a little bit subtle, right? Okay, and then we can adjust the intensity by, I'm going to click on intensity and just ramp it up. Ooh, 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 I like that. Ooh, but it's too much. Yeah. Oh, right there. Yeah, that's good. That's alright. Let's add another directional light. It'll be fun. So I'm going to click on directional light. I'm going to press Control D, and then see it doubled the intensity because it's in the same spot, rotated the same way. So we're going to adjust the rotation of this one. Yeah, that's pretty good. And then make it like, yeah. And then I'm going to click on X and change that a little bit again. Let's change the color to green. It's too, I think it might be too intense. I want to rotate the intensity down. Yeah. Okay, so now we have more interesting lighting. Let's play it and see what happens. I mean, it's not incredible or nothing, but it's got shadows and shit. So, ooh, that side of the box is a different color, kind of. Okay, so let's add some sounds. I have a wave, a MP3, and an OGG. They all work. Epic Journey is going to be our song. So let's go back to the assets folder, and we're going to make a new folder called audio. And let's just go ahead and import all of these over at the same time into the audio folder. Double click on that. Now, let's see. If we have to have an object in here that is playing it like a speaker. So let's go ahead and put Epic Journey on the ground. That'll be fine. So now if we click on the ground in our inspector, we see it's now got an audio source automatically. Okay, it's got the sample we want. It's going to play when it starts. That's what play on the wake means. And it's our song, so we're going to make it loop. Okay. This is a song, and we don't want it to be specific to. We don't want it to be where you can move away from it, because it's our soundtrack. So for 3D sound settings, let's see, not 3D sound settings. No, here it is. Spatial blend 2D. It needs to be at 2D. If it's 3D, then that means that you can move away from it. We want it to be 2D. So let's play and see if it worked. Oh yeah. Yeah, this is epic. Oh my gosh, this is so epic. Okay, and we can adjust the volume by dragging the volume. And so now let's have, what we're going to do now is, okay, don't be scared, we're going to do a little bit of scripting. Alright, just a little bit, just a very small amount that's going to make a huge difference. So I'm going to click on this to minimize it. I'm going to right click and say create C# script. We're going to title this Touch React. Don't put any spaces in, okay? When you title your C# script, don't put any spaces in. And this is called camel casing, which is just making it so that the new word has capitals and makes it easier to read. So that's going to be the name of our new script. We're going to click on it, double click on it in order to write it. All this stuff is automatic, Okay, let's just leave it here for now. I just went in and pressed return a bunch of times. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to use a function called on, what's it called? On trigger enter. Okay? It needs to be spelled exactly like this with the camel casing, and it needs to have void before it. This void just means that it's not going to return anything to us when it does its calculation or something. I don't know much about computer programming. And then we put it in little parentheses there, and we need there to be a collider, and we're going to name the collider other. Okay? And then we're going to use these little bracket things, press return a couple times, and put another bracket thing in here. So this is our function. Currently it doesn't do anything, but Unity already knows what this is. This is a Unity function, on trigger enter. It makes it so that when something goes into a collider, something happens. Whatever's in here is going to happen. Okay? So what we're going to have it do is play a sound. Alright? Let's see. We're going to say this. No. We're going to say if parentheses if other, the other thing which enters, is the same as let's see. Okay, let's see. If the other is okay, no. We're going to say other dot tag equals player, then something. So I'll show you what that means later. Then we need another bracket here. Then this dot we don't have an audio thing, do we? The audio source. Audio dot play, and that's a function. This audio play. Okay. I think that'll work, but I'm not positive. Let's find out what happens. Okay, so I'm going to save this. Save all. Why not? And yeah, I made a backup. So then we're going to drag this onto the object that we need to collide with. So let's make an object. We're going to create 3D object sphere, and we're going to move that down a little bit, over, and then we're going to drag our new script onto this. Okay, so it's added as a component, and then we're going to make sure that our rigid body controller is tagged player. See how it has tag up here, untagged? We click on that, and we're going to choose player. So now let's look back at our script. Oh wait, there's no audio on here. So click on the sphere. We need to put audio on that baby. So we're going to have it play this sample whenever we run into this. So I'm going to drag this onto the sphere. Okay. And now the sphere has an audio source. It says play on the wake. We don't want it to play on the wake. We want it to play when we run into it. So we're going to unclick that. And we also need to do one more thing. Notice I used, on our script, we used on trigger enter. Okay, well currently it's got a collider, not a trigger. So that we can walk on it, we're going to make it so that instead of being able to walk on it, it's going to be a trigger. So on the sphere collider, I click on trigger. Alright, let's see if this works. I actually don't know if it's going to work. I might have skipped a step. So I'm going to press play. Here's our song. Oh, that's their sound effect. Oh, that's their sound effect. Oh, I'm not sure if you can hear it because the song So I'm going to turn the song way down, which was on our ground. Turn it way down, and then you can hear the sound effect. There it is. Yeah. 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 Alright, so that's a walking simulator. Ta-da! Congratulations, everybody. We won.